Hey guys, it's the History Nerd, and we are back with another exciting episode of Europa Universalis 4, Great Britain. Let's go ahead and unpause the game and let time continue flowing. Now, where we last left off, we were victorious in our wars against both France and Portugal. We were able to reclaim the glorious colony of Abitbi, as well as most of what was Portuguese Mexico. All that is left is, of course, Mexico City, and we can see they don't like us at all. But that's fine. We don't care. We're Great Britain. We can see British Mexico making advancements up there. There weren't really any other gains made. There was a chance that we were going to get those, but, you know, just didn't work out. We're slowly expanding into the Spice Islands. We can see Charles Gloucestershire there. It's taken a very long time to get there. But we've got the Army of Java under Maximilian Proctor ready and waiting to hopefully claim these 4 provinces right there. I think that'll give us a good starting point for expanding further into the Spice Islands. We have lost Australia. As we can see, Spain has taken the entire southeastern corner, as well as Tasmania. Portugal has taken the northeastern corner. All that's left is the southwest, which is just a tiny little... That was quite the stutter. Just a tiny little chunk of land in the south. I think, as ahistorical as it is, I'm just going to let Australia fall by the wayside. If I can snag New Zealand, however, that would be a much better bet. I like the look of New Zealand here better than what's left of Australia. And that's pretty much it. The first thing I want to do... Oh. Derp. Once we get a colonist back, I might be able to actually colonize Potawatomi. Yeah, because that's... Now that I've taken some time to look back at it, that's probably why I wasn't able to colonize there. So, lessons learned. We've got most of Ontario. We won't be able to get Nippon there, but the rest should be able to be colonized. And that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead, unpause the game. We've got our economy kind of back on track. Now, we've got quite a few leaders here that we quite honestly don't need. We're spending a lot on leaders we do not need. It's going to be a while before we get any sort of military idea that gives us another leader, if we get one at all. So, yeah, that's obviously something to consider. What else have we got going on? We got some forts coming up. We're going to be reworking the Royal Navy, which should... I guess it's over in Ireland at the moment. That should be setting sail for London. I guess I never told it to go there. So let's do that now. Perfect. The governor of 5 colonies has suddenly died. We will send a bureaucratic candidate, because I think that's good. I've got nothing else to go on but that. I think it's good. And that's good enough for me. What we will need to do, however, is get a new trade fleet in Hatton Bank, which could explain an awful lot of why we're only shifting a buck out of there. We do have Nimahaya Kabo there transferring trade up, but we're going to need some light ships. And the other thing that I want to do, I've got Ceylon here set to collect. Now, when you collect from a trade node, it drops, I think it's like 50%, if it's not your capital. So what I want to do is actually shift trade, so we can see 19.09 ducats are leaving the Ceylon trade node, heading this direction. So that's good. If we add our merchant pushing trade that way, that's going to be a lot more trade heading this direction. Now, the trick here, however, is most of the trade in Gulf of Aden is heading up into Alexandria, and that's not where we want to send it. What we want to do is we want to send all this trade money down through Zanzibar, where we've already got a little bit of trade power, but we're going to need a little fleet there to protect that, through the Cape of Good Hope, because the Portuguese are not collecting. They're transferring their trade power out through the Congo trade node on up into the Ivory Coast, where we are collecting. Now again, what we could do with the Ivory Coast is once we're done, instead of collecting, we could shift it all the way up and then up into the Maturian coast, across into the Caribbean, up the Chesapeake, up the St. Lawrence, and then back into London. That's a bit of a trip, but I'm thinking since we're collecting in the Ivory Coast, we might as well just shift our Indian trade to the Ivory Coast as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on this, and I don't want to recall the merchant, but what I want to do... Oh, blast. I can't just... See, that is frustrating and a little bit annoying. I would have assumed I could have just said, hey, Alexander Northumberland, instead of collecting trade here, why don't you shimmy it on down the line? The reason why I don't want to recall the merchant is because it's going to take him ages to get from Ceylon to London, just so I can put him back on a boat from London to Ceylon. That seems ridiculous. It should be easy to just be like, you're going to change that. But it isn't easy. So in that case, considering the rough shape my economy is in at the moment, I'm going to leave it the way it is. I will go back and adjust it, but I want to wait until I've got a bit more money so I can do things with that money, really. That's the plan there. And then we're going to need to come up with a whole other idea of what to do in Malacca here, because obviously we've got a little teeny little, just a bit of trade power, and I'm guessing that's coming from my army there. I don't know what that's actually coming from, unless, yeah, because we don't have any land here whatsoever. So I'm not sure where that trade power is coming from, unless it's coming from here, which it could be. In fact, it very well probably is coming from there. Regardless, we're going to need to figure out what to do there. We're also going to need to work on the trade fleets. So, what I was doing before, sending... By the way, this video is probably going to be a lot of trade, if that doesn't interest you, or if you already know how this works, and you don't feel like watching some guy who has one lesson in it, and I feel fairly confident, but I'm not totally confident. I don't know. Leave tips, don't watch, do whatever you feel you must. So, yeah, that's a thing. As you can see, we're not even doing a thing here. So what we want to do is take a look at our, whoops, let's go back to this view and see. I don't think I can build a ship well building fleets. So we'll head over to the eastern coast. Perfect place for U-boat hunting if you watch my other series, and you should. Shameless self-promotion. So we can see these heavy frigates have a trade power value of 6. So what I'm going to do, 6, 12, 18, 24. That'll be good for now. We'll see what 4 ships gets us. Obviously, it's not going to stay at 4. I will want more than 4. But for now, we'll stick with the 4, and we'll see what that gets us. So there we go. 16 two-decker ships, 20 merchantmen, and the possibility of adding quite a few more ships to everything. So that's going to be nice. We just need to let those frigates complete. And what army is that? Oh, yeah. Well, I guess we probably don't need the 4th army here. If I ever get into another war with Portugal, I'll build 2 more units of infantry. But as it stands now, these guys are not going to be revolting. Let's go back. They're English, they're Protestant, they're fairly happy. They've got a bit of a war exhaustion and some other things, but all in all, things seem pretty happy in of Umbundu. So we're just going to get rid of that army. That'll save us a little bit of money. And now we're only spending about 2 ducats a month to cover the extra land forces that we are using. And we've got some of our best forts in Madagascar here. This is definitely our home away from home. It's kind of like Little Great Britain. One of our colonies has received a surge in immigrants seeking their fortune in our colonies. It will soon be a self-supporting city, providing much wealth to our realm. So we got 200 population in Cree. Let's go check on that, and that's good. But I suggest that Cree's probably not a hot spot for colonial movement at this moment. So we've got that taken care of. Let's see what a temple would do. Whoops. A temple is gonna... That's confusing. Why would a temple give me more manpower? A temple should be giving me more money, not more manpower. I'm going to assume that's some kind of bug in Ceylon, but we're going to build a temple there anyway. What are these guys? Oh, yep, they're building a temple too. So that's good. That'll drop the revolt risk of these Indian provinces, which shouldn't be that high. True, they're Tamils, and they're not. Yay! I would have liked to go to the Spice Islands instead, but that's okay. So what have we got? We've got spread our culture to Madurai. Okay. We've got prison problems. Our jails are overflowing with criminals of all types. To make room, we should release these dangerous individuals back into society. If only there was somewhere else to put them. At least one province in Australian coast is owned by Great Britain. Let's check our colonial range here. And that button. We can certainly get there. So actually, let's go ahead and take that mission. After saying I don't want to get involved in Australia, now I want to get involved in Australia. None of our colonies look like they're going to be worth it or going to be done in a while. So what I'm going to do is recall Charles Frobisher. I'm sorry, sir. Well, maybe I'm not sorry. We're taking you from a very cold place to a very hot place. They're very aggressive. They are not ferocious. I'm wondering if I'm going to need some sort of military garrison there. I just might. So, Indian Squadron, head on over to Bonteen. We can split these guys in half, and I will select the one without a leader, the Army of Scotland, the Army of... Thank you. Australia. And there it arrives. We'll put you on boats, and we will send you down there, past Shark Bay into Cape Lewin. And then that'll be nice. We'll have a place to put our prisoners. And apparently, Australia isn't the only place. We must have tons of miscreants and ne'er-do-wellers in our prisons. Our colony in Cree has not been progressing as quickly as we would like. Really, I would go out on a limb and say it's probably one of our fastest growing. In fact, scratch that. It is our fastest growing colony. One of your advisors has, however, come up with a plan to speed up growth. He is proposing that we send thieves, debtors, and other criminals to Cree and have them pay their debts to society by working to develop the colony and eventually becoming settlers once their sentence is done. While this plan might seem good on paper, there is a chance a rebellion may occur due to having all these dangerous individuals in a single location. Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, do it. And obviously we have a very small chance of a revolt in Cree, but I'm not worried about that. In fact, we can probably just go from Shark Bay into Wajuk here. And indeed we can. So there are our men. We will send this fleet back up to Ceylon. And again, you don't seem to want to take the quick way. It's fine. I'll tell you to do it. And hopefully, we can discover what's going on in the Cocos Islands, which might just be another place to send a colonist. We'll see. What have we got going on here? We've got our trade fleet. Okay, so we will select you guys. Head actually hit to Cornwall. Alright, so we will form the Atlantic Trade Squadron. Again, sorry for the loud typing. If the microphone is picking that up, it's just bound to happen. Western Europe will send our fleet there. And after a few days, once it arrives, we should see our trade increase. So it kind of doubled. And we can see we've now got 5% of the trade power in that region. So we're going to need more ships there, that's for sure. Sidney Howard has his term up. What were you, Sidney? You were a diplomat, so we'll keep you. We'll keep you. There we go. All right, so we could use probably another 4 frigates here. Uno, dos, tres, cuatros. That's the extent of my Spanish. Oh, and hola. I know hola as well. Actually, I wonder if this didn't join Newfoundland because it's in a different colonial zone. Where are those things? Colonial regions. Ah, that explains it. Yes. So Michigan is the start of colonial Louisiana, which is kind of strange with Newfoundland getting some land in it. So I'm not sure how good colonial Louisiana is going to be, but it is going to be something. And our good friends, the Iroquois, they've been our allies for quite a long time. It would be nice if there were some subtle ways to, I don't know, maybe encourage them to convert a religion. We could spread Anglicanism to them. That would be super cool. But it doesn't look like they can. You are actually sailing around, right? Good, okay. We should have one more frigate. There we go. We will send you guys to Cornwall. Have you guys all merged together. And I guess we can meet up in the Celtic Sea. There we go. We'll merge that and we will go and protect trade in Western Europe again. And so we can see right now we've got, not much. And now we've got a ton. So we've got quite a bit of trade. Obviously, Portugal is dominating the region. Spain and Portugal are dominating the region, leaving not much left to the others. But we're gonna work on that. There's roughly 70 ducats sitting here, and right now we're pulling out 10%. You can see most of the wealth is flowing down into Sevilla. New diseases brought forth from overseas. We will attempt to assuage their pain. Coffee production in Cuba. Let's just check Cuba. What is that going to do? Liberty Desire? Oh, well, if 1%, 1%. That sounds good to me. So we can see we're getting a whopping 17 ducats a month from our subjects, and I haven't even adjusted this yet. This is all just naturally happening. One of the things that I might think about doing, however, is increasing the tariffs in British Mexico. With them being a gold-producing or a gold-producing nation, in fact, it might not be a bad idea. Their liberty desire is fairly low, so that would put them up to 21%, but it would also put this up by 2.5%, and that should equal quite a lot more money. In fact, it does. So maybe I'll do that for all of my colonies. Well, certainly I can do it for Newfoundland and for British Columbia as well. But for Cuba and the 5 colonies, their liberty desire is sitting high enough for my liking. We'll just leave it as it is. Well, you can see we're pulling in a decent amount of money now, to be honest. I'm fairly pleased. And we can get that bigger, obviously, improving our trade fleet there and improving our trade fleet in other locations. For sure, Ivory Coast could definitely use one. And we could even build these locally. So let's do that. And in fact, while we're doing that, we could get one going in India, and then we can also get one going down here too. There we go. Yay! Prison problems. So we've got a colony going in Australia. It's wonderful. We have improved relations with the Hansa as best as we can. Let's go ahead and take a look at who else are prospective allies. Sweden is definitely out. Bohemia, things are improving. So once this diplomat gets back, I am going to go ahead and say, hey, Bohemia, I know you didn't respond to our previous need for an alliance. Oh, well, we don't like them. So, yeah. See, it's weird. We're willing to trust Bohemia somewhat. We still don't like them. So there's going to be no, what's the word I'm looking for? No chance for an alliance. We're going to keep David Buckingham to drop that down to 20. That should have dropped down to 20. Does it need to? I guess it's not going to. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I guess it was the Liberty Desire, wasn't it? Not tariff efficiency should definitely not drop. So we'll keep that going. Native uprising in Banton, not a problem. Not a problem at all. Have that in the bag. And there is our glorious little Australian colony, Wajuk, going nicely. And that should put us in a good position for New Zealand. Okay, recall our diplomat. English physicist and mathematician Isaac Newton was the culminating figure of the scientific revolution of the 17th century. In optics, his discovery of the composition of white light integrated the phenomenon of colors into the science of light and laid the foundation for modern physical optics. In mechanics, his 3 laws of motion, in fact, not different kinds of motions, the basic principles of modern physics, resulted in the formulation of the law of universal gravitation. In mathematics, he was the original discoverer of the infinitesimal calculus. Newton's Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy from 1687 was one of the most important single works in the history of modern science. Score. Now, as a longtime fan of Paradox games, I like those historical determination events. A lot of people wouldn't. A lot of people prefer to look at this as just a sandbox. But when you started your Europa Universalis experience with EU4, you learned to appreciate historical determination, especially if you were playing Austria. It was very easy to get the big white blob. The lands of modern North America seem suitable for many things. In the north, we heard talk of furs and shipbuilding materials. In the south, the land looks suitable for growing many crops. We must establish a base there so we can profit. I'm fairly confident. At least one province in northeastern America owned by Great Britain. Oh, owned by Great Britain. Not one of my colonial nations. So if we go and take a look at... Oh, where was it? Just looking at these. Bear with me. There we go. Colonial regions. Colonial Eastern America. I guess it would have to be somewhere up in here. But there's really no places for me to claim anymore. So I'm not going to bother with that mission. Getting into China, I don't know if we're quite ready for that. Who was that? Japan's apparently ready to get into China. But that looks like it would be a much more difficult proposition than the whole thing in India. So what we're going to do is take this one. So Madurai, right there, needs to become English. So we need 200 diplomatic power to change that. And we're going to get 10 when we complete that. So that's not really a good return on investment. We're still going to do it. South Australian Basin. So there we go. Most of the world is discovered. So that's pretty awesome. Cuejos is producing copper. I believe that's way down over here. Yep. Yep, that's copper. Man, the Inca are still kicking around. I mean, obviously most of Dutch Peru has taken it, but that's impressive. They're still kicking in 1689. I'm pleased for them. Is Brittany still kicking around? They are in a current war with Austria, Ferrara, Burgundy, Thuringia, Wallachia, Frankfurt, Saxony, and Muscovy. Okay, great. Frederick I, 040. Frederick I, great cunning and silver tongue, shall aid us in forming strong alliances with our friends. I don't think he will. To be honest, he's got no legal heir. He's 17 years old, so we're going to be stuck with him for a very long time. Strap in for that. We've got enough money. Let's take a look at getting some more buildings up. And I think some workshops are in order back at home. And we could get some counting houses up. That would actually look like it would help immensely. There we go. I guess in our colonial regions too, we've got enough money to build up some things. So we'll get some temples going, and that should keep that. All right, we'll get these guys together, and we can get rid of that, so we can see the mini map again. Perfect, and this will be our African Trade Squadron. So you can send yourself to the Ivory Coast, I believe. There we have it. So getting a bit more trade power here, but you can see we're still, you know, having some issues competing with the Portuguese and Spanish. So, yeah. Well, what we'll do is we'll build another 3 frigates. And that should help things out there. We've got this fleet done, so we'll get those guys all together. And we've got this fleet done, so we'll get all those guys together. Is that, what trade node is this? This is Ceylon. I saw you there, so we will send you there. And this fleet, almost ready. Merge it together, and we will actually call these guys the Zanzibar. Okay. The Zanzibar, the trade squadron. We'll send you there. And yeah, I might want to, well, Ceylon, I guess there's Bengal too, if we decide to get involved in that. So we should probably trade these guys, change these guys' name to Ceylon. There we go. Perfect. All right, so hopefully those trade fleets will assist. Bay of Uka, all right. Kuril Islands, Southern California, good. And Canyon, Tennessee, and Chahaya. British Mexico, we will give you another military candidate because you're not quite done your mission there, buddy. We can see Spain getting involved in California there. And obviously British Mexico is expanding as well. Advisor died and we found Kamchatka Basin. Good. Whoa, grain. Wonderful. New governor in Newfoundland. We will... How is Newfoundland looking? Sure, we'll keep Mr. Clifford. And... an increase to colonial range. It might be... you know, that really won't be all that helpful. Really. Although, considering... Well, we don't need a diplomatic candidate. That's for sure. Because we're already getting, what, 7 points compared to 1 and 3. Our military power, it's these damn leaders. It's these damn leaders. So, what we'll need to do is hit up our military screen and... Guy Button. Guy Button, where are you, Guy? You're up north, aren't you? Yeah, you're right there. I'd really like, well, we can do that, and we can do that, and then we can just bring you back home. That's a pretty long walk you're gonna do there. At least we can do some discovery. And how are our colonies looking? Cree is still doing the best. It's still the best chance of completion. Although Kwajos there and Wajuk are catching up. Bantin here, this is the slow one, which makes sense. It's tropical, so that's going to be a heck of a lot tougher. Good. Coffee gives us better trade fort, or better fort defense. That's good to know. And Battle of Iowa. So we're just marching through. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, you keep going that way. But, there's a different route I want to send you now. Okay, you're done fighting. I want to check out... Oh, that's probably Spanish. Oh, good God, no. Like that, like that, like that. We can go down and around. And actually, yeah, well, there. Bit of a walk. But, that'll get that sorted. Well, that's good. Somebody's doing a lot of exploring up there. I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest that it's Spain. Yay! Well... well, What is going on here? Are you at... Oh, you're at war with Austria. Good luck, Sweden. Oh, I remember what I wanted to do. A few local workers in the administration have discovered what they claim is a more efficient way to handle documents. Obviously, they do not know what they're talking about, but can it hurt to let them try their new ideas? Use caution. Although I don't think inflation's really a problem for us, thankfully. No, what I wanted to do. Yeah, so these guys are Lithuanian and Protestant and Orthodox, whereas France has stayed Catholic. They're involved in a war against the Holy Roman Empire. So what I want to do... Really? They have no... Despite all of this, they have no rebels? Oh, that is frustrating. Arg! What I wanted to do was actually use my spying abilities, which, I mean, I don't know how great they are, but we haven't done much intrigue at all, and that is a perfect location to try and get some sort of revolt going against the French, in my humble opinion, anyway. So is Austria involved in 2 wars then? No, France and Sweden are just allied? Damn. That is a pretty strong power block of blue. Now that's slowly going up, but they're still not fans. And I would imagine Austria, that's just no chance, because we're rivals, aren't we? Oh no, heretic religion and competing great power, so that's enemy of enemy, though. That's right. Okay, Casabella against Portugal. They are threatening our trade. Let them. We've proven ourselves to Portugal, I think. We will put in a new candidate. So there we have a possibility of a colonial direction to kind of annoy Spain. Something to consider anyway. We can see the Spanish are definitely going for this region. But one would imagine they're going to try and get New Spain and Florida together and then just wipe out the Shawnee. Relations. Let's improve relations with the Shawnee then. So you see, instead of being horrible colonial conquestors, which, I mean, we are. We definitely are. But we're also friendly, benevolent people who just want the larger groups of people living in this region to just improve their quality of life and maybe help change them. It's a horrible thing to say. Trade depots apparently will also increase military power, as will canals. Who knew? Who knew trade buildings were so effective? Great. Banteen is producing fish. That was supposed to be one of the richest places. And it produces fish. Counting houses, we can get a couple more of these in. Is there any place, maybe Derby? No, definitely Wessex and Cornwall. Okay, yeah, accommodation with natives, that's good. Yorkshire and Northumberland. That's good, and we'll slap one in Derby to connect things. Whoa, that was close. We almost gave Cuba a military candidate, but instead we'll give him a diplomatic one. And we'll get some more counting houses going. Because really, all Great Britain here needs some help and love. Our cities aren't looking anywhere near as prominent as places like Lisbon or Madrid. Or even Paris, I would imagine. Poor little London. Yet we've still got one of the strongest powers in the world. I'll go out on a limb and say that. In fact, the last time that I looked at the score, granted that was a while ago, we were in 8th and we're now in 6th. So, you know, by 1821, who knows where we'll be? Maybe first? I don't want to say that's my goal, because I don't like setting goals in games like this. Means for too much work. But hey, you never know. Slowly but surely, that's coming along nicely, and it looks like we may be getting drug into another colonial war with the French, because Newfoundland is going after French Canada yet again. Hopefully not. Hopefully France, considering their situation, they're not going to bother getting involved with issues in the colonies. I would certainly hope. I guess what we should be doing is looking at perhaps 96 months. I mean, I guess basically what we're doing is we're wiping out the Tamil population and making it English. That still seems like a long time. Oh, wonderful. Okay, well, let's leave this paused for now. So they are involved in 2 wars. That much is good. And yeah, we're low maintenance, so we should probably start spending. Don't need to worry about raising war taxes. We will get Guy Button and his 2nd Army over to Stadacona there. And start working on that army that obviously, well, maybe David Churchill here and his little band of newfies will be able to wipe them out. Is there anywhere else that we can really go after France? Not that these colonies are the greatest, but if we can get to Suriname, we might be able to claim that. And then I don't think France is really anywhere else in the world. They're not in India. They're not in Africa. They're not in the Pacific region. So really, French colonial empire is basically this, which could become ours. Do they have any islands in the Caribbean? I think they were a bit late to the party. There's just Portuguese, Spanish, and myself in Dominica there. So, yeah. Regardless, we can see the French army is somewhere over here. I'm not really sure what's going on with the Austrians. But what we might want to do is send the Royal Navy without a leader? Yeah. 7 light ships against 16 heavies. Granted, our morale isn't where it should be. You're going to get there in 5 days. You're getting to the coast of Holland. So we're going to miss each other. And I think this is going to be a good place to leave the video. So when we come in next time, we'll be at war with France. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to suggest signing a white peace, but you know what? Screw it. The 1600s so far have been a century of expansion with 2 wars. Let's make it 3. Let's make it a good one against France. And let's see if we can't take their colonies. So that's the plan for the next video. Thumbs up if you have enjoyed this one. Leave your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, jokes, musings, what have you below. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.